Let's be honest, The Witcher isn't The Witcher anymore. The new Season 4 trailer just dropped, and instead of excitement, most fans, myself included, are just frustrated. Netflix had something incredible, something that could have stood beside Game of Thrones or The Last Kingdom. But because they didn't listen to the right people, especially Henry Cavill, they've managed to ruin another masterpiece in real time. Um, let's start with Henry Cavill, the only man who actually cared. He wasn't just the actor, he was the backbone. The one keeping this whole thing together while the writers were busy turning The Witcher into generic fantasy series number 52. Cavill loved this world. He knew Geralt down to the smallest details. He respected the source material like it was scripture. He once said he'd stay for 7 seasons if they stayed true to the books. But Netflix said, 7 seasons? Nah, how about 3 and then we fire the guy who knows what he's doing? They didn't just lose a great actor, they lost the soul of the series. And it's not like he left quietly either. Everyone knows Cavill had creative differences. Translation, he didn't want to keep pretending this script made sense. You can literally feel his frustration in Season 3. The man's acting his heart out while the writing's doing backflips trying to sabotage him. Then comes Season 4. Liam Hemsworth steps in as Geralt, and listen, I've got nothing against the guy. He's walking into an impossible situation. But the trailer makes one thing clear. This isn't about him. It's about the fact that everything else already fell apart. The tone, gone. The writing, unrecognizable. The atmosphere, replaced with what looks like a TikTok filter and a Spotify epic fantasy playlist. And that line, you know, the one, let's fucking move. Yeah, because when I think of Geralt of Rivia, I think of a frat bro in armor. It's such a tiny line, but it tells you everything. The writers don't understand the character. They think Geralt needs to be edgy and loud to be cool, when the whole point of him is that he's quietly dangerous. At this point, Netflix's real talent isn't making shows, it's butchering beloved stories. They're like the Hollywood version of that friend who says, trust me, I can fix it, and then hands you back something on fire. Let's review their track record, shall we? Cowboy Bebop turned one of the most stylish anime ever made into a cosplay comedy sketch. Resident Evil somehow managed to make zombies boring. Death Note, ah yes, the crown jewel of we don't understand the source material 101. Netflix's Death Note is a masterclass in how to completely miss the point. They took one of the most psychological, morally complex stories ever, a genius who finds a godlike notebook, and turned it into a teenage tantrum movie. Light Yagami went from being a calm, calculating prodigy who played mental chess with the world's smartest detective to a nervous kid named Light Turner who screams when he sees a notebook. Ryuk, the terrifying Shinigami, he became comic relief. L looked like he'd wandered in from a different movie entirely. It's like they skimmed the Wikipedia page for Death Note and said, cool, let's make this about feelings and prom. And the worst part? Netflix learned nothing from it, because they did the exact same thing with The Witcher. They took something deep, morally gray, full of consequence, and decided to replace it with catchphrases and a CGI fog. Remember what made The Witcher magical in the first place? It wasn't the monsters, it wasn't even the action scenes. It was the quiet moments. Geralt's hesitation before killing. The way Ciri looked at him like a father. The tension with Yennefer love and rage tied together in one look. Now it's all gone. The trailer feels like someone ran the show through an AI that only knows the word epic. You can almost hear the Netflix execs saying, needs more explosions, fewer emotions. Geralt used to be a philosopher with a sword. Now he's just a guy with abs and a catchphrase. And you can tell the trailer feels emotionally empty even though it's full of stuff happening. That's how you know the story's dead. The irony is that the fan base the people Netflix keeps ignoring understand this story better than the writers do. Fans want complexity. We want the messy morality. We want Geralt to make decisions that actually mean something. But Netflix sees that and goes, too serious. Can we make it funnier? No, you can't. It's The Witcher, not The Witcher sitcom edition. Cavill was literally begging them to stick closer to the books, and they said no. You had the perfect lead actor, a fan of the lore, practically offering to do your homework for you, and you still said no. That's not just arrogance, that's self-sabotage. Netflix loves using the phrase creative freedom, which apparently means we're going to ignore everything that made the story good and do whatever our focus groups say is trending. They claim they want to modernize these stories, but what they actually do is strip out everything timeless. Cavill wanted The Witcher to have weight, they wanted it to have memes, and the result? Season 4 already looks like every other Netflix fantasy show, pretty, empty, and indistinguishable. They've done this so many times, it's practically their business model. Buy a beloved IP, ignore the fans, change everything. Blame the fans when it flops. Here's the sad truth: Netflix doesn't adapt stories anymore. They consume them. They take cultural landmarks, things that mattered to people, and strip them for parts. It's not about art or storytelling anymore, it's about content. Something to fill the homepage for 3 weeks before the next shiny trailer drops. And that's why The Witcher hurts more than Death Note or Resident Evil. Because it started so well. Season 1 had grit mystery, beautiful storytelling. Then the higher ups saw the numbers and said, okay, now make it more Netflix. And here we are. I actually feel bad for Liam Hemsworth. He's walking into a battlefield with no armor. Even if he gives the performance of his life, fans will never fully accept him, not because he's bad, but because the world around him already collapsed. He's the new captain of a ship that's already underwater. And every time he opens his mouth, people are going to compare it to Cavill's version, not because of acting skill, but because Cavill's Geralt felt real. Hemsworth's Geralt feels like a rebooted action figure. And the worst part? This could have been avoided so easily. Netflix didn't need to reinvent The Witcher. They just needed to respect it. Keep Cavill involved. Keep the story grounded in Sapkowski's world. Let the writing breathe. Not every scene needs a punchline. Stop chasing Marvel energy in a world that's supposed to feel medieval, tragic, and brutal. They had all the pieces: great cast, loyal fan base, incredible source material, and they still managed to burn it down. It's like they were handed a dragon's egg and said, cool, let's microwave it. So now we're left with another half-hearted adaptation that doesn't even understand what it's adapting. Henry Cavill's gone, the tone's gone, the writing's lost in the fog, and what's left is Netflix's favorite product, a shell of something beautiful. We're watching the same cycle repeat. Death Note was the warning. Cowboy Bebop was the test. The Witcher is the tragedy. It's not that Netflix can't make good things, it's that they don't know how to leave good things alone. So yeah, I'll still watch The Witcher Season 4, but not out of excitement. Out of pure morbid curiosity. I want to see just how far they've strayed from what made this story special. Maybe it'll surprise us, maybe it won't. But either way, Netflix has already proven something. They don't ruin shows by accident anymore. They ruin them by habit. Anyway, that's my rant. What do you think? Am I overreacting, or did Netflix just destroy another potential masterpiece? Let me know in the comments. Hit like if you agree, and subscribe if you're tired of watching great stories get fed into the Netflix blender.